The North Gauteng High Court in Pretoria will shortly hand down judgment in an application brought by media houses to be allowed access to suspended NPA prosecutor Glenys Breitenbach. And former National Police Commissioner Jackie Selebi faces strict parole conditions following his release on medical grounds. I'm Richard Brooks. The North Gauteng High Court in Pretoria will shortly hand down judgment in an application brought by media houses to be allowed access to suspended NPA prosecutor Glenys Breitenbach. Media24, Avusa Media and Mnet launched an urgent application on Friday for the hearing, which will resume this morning. Permission for the print media was initially granted by disciplinary hearing chairperson Barry Madolo, but the NPA subsequently said Madolo, who has since recused himself from the hearing, had no authority to make such a decision. The National Director of Public Prosecutions is opposing the application on the grounds that disciplinary hearings are private affairs and that the presence of the media might intimidate witnesses. Former National Police Commissioner Jackie Selebi faces strict parole conditions following his release on medical grounds. Unannounced visits and random blood alcohol tests are just some of the conditions to be put in place. Correctional Services Deputy Commissioner James Smallberger says despite living outside prison, Selebi will be expected to obey orders from correctional services officials. He says if Selebi violates any of his parole conditions for the duration of his 15-year sentence, he could be taken back to prison. Selebi was found guilty of corruption 2 years ago. He was released from the Steve Biko Hospital on Saturday and will from now on have to pay his own medical bills. Johannes Stein, who's dubbed the Sunday Rapist, is expected to appear in the South Gauteng High Court in Johannesburg today in connection with the murders of teenagers Louise Duval and Lazan Farmer. Stein is also charged with 11 counts of rape, 10 counts of sexual assault, and 10 counts of kidnapping. He allegedly abducted Roodepoort schoolgirl Duval in October last year while she was on her way to school. It was just before her 17th birthday. Duval's burnt body was found on a Magaliesburg farm later the same day. Stein handed himself over at the Margate police station in KZN the next day. 14-year-old farmer of Elandspoort in Pretoria was kidnapped in September 2010 by a man in a bakkie. She was killed when she apparently jumped out of the bakkie in a bid to escape. Police say Stein had confessed to being the Sunday Rapist, but not to killing Duval. He allegedly raped a number of young girls in Gauteng and the Northwest, mostly on Sundays since 2008. The families of victims of Saturday's horror crash between a school bus and a minibus taxi near Cradock in the Eastern Cape are expected to identify their loved ones today. 17 people were killed when the school bus and a taxi collided on the R61 between Graafrenet and Cradock. The taxi was travelling from Cape Town to Mthatha while the bus was en route to Graafrenet. Cradock Primary School remains closed until further notice as the principal and a learner died. Deputy Transport Minister Sindiswe Chukunga.
We really believe that these accidents are as a result of lack of patience, are as a result of human error to the extent of being a result of negligence. And our call to the motorists is to please obey the rules of the road. If the driver had obeyed the fact that this is a barrier line and therefore not expected to overtake, we would not be here today. We would not be having so many people having lost their lives. We would not be having such pain that is now affecting the families of the people that were put into this danger.